Welcome to the Real CP Show. I am your host, CP. Today's date is July the 16th, 2026. And today's topic, this extreme Anglo woman, in parentheses, this kind, sexual assaulter of a male toddler, creepy pervert. Where is that? Just believe women generic demonic mantra. Yes. When I sit there and saw this story, again, I'm looking like, for at least several generations, or especially for the last generation or so, plus or minus, it's been just believe women generically. And then the same type of demonic, pro-feminist, pro-women organizations, talking about the ones that are overly demonic in the way they look at women as some type of pedestal goddesses, but they look at men as some little demon seed to be used by the demon goddesses. Do you understand? That's how they look at numbers of men. They look at men as inferior to them. Do you understand? And they know it's not enough men that have this backbone to say, wait a minute now for a second. We're not falling for the little demonic little tactics that's showcased toward males. Now, there are some gullible, naive males that is still why certain type of pro-womanism stuff continues to keep happening. And there's all various types of pro-womanism within various political figures. Definitely, again, within various types of pro-women organizations. Overall, right? Again, they look at males overall as inferior. But when you start looking at or relaying stuff like this over to those kind of people, they do just like this. Right? Because there's a caste system in womanism. And this is how they sound when they said, oh, it's not enough males to see through these tactics. Yes. That's how they sound. Now, let me go ahead and share my screen on this. One moment here. Now, make sure you can see this. Now, you look at the images already. There will be some males that was like, oh my goodness, she's nice looking. Now, remember how many times there are numbers of women that have multiple layers of face paint on. And without that, Now, a little bit of light makeup, no problem on that, right? But when you have multiple levels of face paint on, it hides. You understand? It hides. New Jersey Anglo woman babysitter accused of making explicit video with a child, a male toddler child in her care. A 25-year-old, that's all. A 25-year-old Anglo woman, pedophile, sexual pervert, predator, creeper, New Jersey woman, Anglo woman, has been arrested and charged after authorities accused her of sexually abusing a young boy toddler in her care and recording videos of the alleged abuse. Victoria Ann Kramer is accused of recording a video on May the 6th involving a boy. You got to watch the little slimy little words, see, because that can kind of go different ways. In this situation, a toddler boy described in court documents as being under the age of 13. So you got to watch this, right? You know, it's still creepy and pedophile for a woman, this situation regardless. The video was allegedly recorded in the bathroom of the Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey home where Kramer previously lived. According to the Monday, July 13 report of such and such, the video was alleged filming a phone Kramer had received as a gift from her former roommate. According to the affidavit of probable cause obtained by such and such, the former roommate, identified in court documents as Mrs. P, discovered the video after Kramer returned the phone upon being kicked out. What's going on with that since it's supposed to be a gift? Of the living situation. Now, again, for numbers of males, they look at this and say, "Ooh, boy, she has a nice little body. Oh my, she has a cute face." Now, we're not going into, well, that's a personal preference, and people should also be dating within their own cultures and race and ethnicity. We're not going to play that tactic, right? Some people can do that, want to do that. Some people say, hey, you know what? No, whoever they want to get with and stuff like that, they treat them okay. Now, in the system of supremacy, that is the most awful mental manipulation force that's ever existed, especially within the U.S. Racial racism is still ongoing, highly out there. In interracial marriages, and how many times? Anyway, that's a different topic on that. That there are remindments, unfortunately, right, on that situation. Now, again, looking at the outside, that will fool some numbers of males. It will, and it has, and it still does. And many numbers of males won't look behind this. The fool that does not look behind just the looks maintains being a fool. Do you understand? Very small percentage of males see through these kind of things. The system knows that, and feminism knows this. According to the patch, a video showing the young boy touching Kramer's exposed genitals while she sat on a toilet was found in her Snapchat app. Mrs. P identified the suspect as Kramer based on her detailed tattoos, voice, and the face that it was filmed in her bathroom. Per the affidavit, upon Mrs. P discovery of the video, she locked Kramer out of the account and saved the video of her phone so it could not be deleted. During the time she lived with Kramer, Mrs. P was aware that Kramer would babysit her daughter as well as the young son of another woman identified as Mrs. H, according to the report. Although the boy's age was not revealed, documents referred to him as being in diapers. Let me repeat this part. Although the boy's age was not revealed, documents refer to him as being in his diapers, or as being in diapers. You think about that for a second, that this maximally deviant sexual predator, creepy pedophile Anglo woman did to this little 2-some-year-old little toddler. Ooh. You imagine if this was a 25-year-old grown male and he did that to a little innocent, little sweet 2-year-old or 3-year-old little girl, toddler. You see the hypocrisy? But in this situation, you're not going to hear numbers of women. And of course, ain't going to be no males doing this in general. But you ain't gonna hear no women saying, "You give me 5 minutes of her." Oh, she thinks she gonna what she did to that little baby boy, toddler. You give me 5 minutes of her. Nope. See the hypocrisy, right? Mrs. H claimed her son exhibited unusual behavior and began disliking the bathtub, according to such and such again. Mrs. H learned that Kramer would bathe herself with the boy, the toddler. You got to watch these little sleeky little demon little switchaway words, right? Boy can be kind of very generic in this, right? As far as age brackets, right? But with this is a toddler, male, a boy. Look at that. See, this kind of stuff has, by various parts of social media, various sections now has messed up quite a number of women in these age brackets, the ones it's applies to, and even numbers of older ones, right? To get them to look at themselves a certain way. You understand? Look at that. You see the multiple layers of face paint. Now I want you to keep this in mind. Just take a good screenshotness of the mentality of the aura about this person. But look at the face. Just want you to keep that in mind. Because you have some people say, oh, she ain't bad looking, right? Not looking behind the eyes of evil and a sexual pervert. Look at that. It's, oh, she got a nice little body. Well, after, the deed is done in relations with that person, then what else she going to offer? A search warrant uncovered additional videos of Kramer and the toddler boy in the bathroom. Kramer has since been booked in such and such jail in Toms River, New York. She is charged with endangering the welfare of a child, manufacturing child sexual abuse material, and possession of child sexual abuse material. Authorities said there is no information available about her next hearing or whether she has hired an attorney. But again, right? You got some people that will look at that face. You understand? And fall for, oh, she's nice looking, and don't see how deadly and sexual perverted she is. Do you understand? Look at that. How many numbers of males will fall for that? In this society, this is why so many numbers of women once applies to that are still getting over males every day. Every day. Now, again, imagine if that was vice versa. And that was, again, a grown 25-year-old male. And he did those sexual deviantness of scenarios toward a 2-year-old little toddler girl. Ooh, do you know the outrage, the we must protect girls mantra? You understand. Whoo, outrage in so many different ways. What happened? But since it's the other way around, yeah, the people doing this. Well, yeah, that's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. Oh, well, right? Next story. But again, in society within Americanism and various other places, that's growing more and more and more. The only thing those women have to do overall right, you have to only do this a lot of times. And you have some numbers of males that come to save the day. How many males have lost their lives doing that and got used in doing that? Oh my goodness. And well, deflectionary tactic type people, the ones who do it. Oh my goodness. Well, it's not all women. What? Wait a minute. Well, it's not women now. It's not all women. I'm not playing that tactic. Tactics are for rabbits. Go play with a rabbit. You understand? The game is a game. That's a bad game, by the way, they keep trying to play. Last thing I want to sit there and show you is this right here. Actually, real fast. Some totally, 2 years old. I think a child's 2 or 3 years old. Toddler. Make sure you can see this. The period between 1 and 3 years is an exciting time. Toddlers are becoming aware that they are separate individuals from their parents and the other important people in the world. The age range isn't just a category. It marks a major shift in how children grow, move, and interact with the world. Around their first birthday to 18 months, babies often take their first steps. And with that mobility comes the nickname toddler. By age 3, most children have developed a growing vocabulary, emotional expression, and increased independence. Why this stage matters. Brain development during the first 3 years of life is faster than at any other time. This period lays the foundation for lifelong learning, behavior, and health. In fact, young children, a young child is developing 1 million neural connections every second. Boy, this is why it's so essential, especially within the American Blackism, to sit there and get the type of young Black American children in those age brackets in developing their mind. This system says they be hot damn dog monkey that they allow Black Americans by the millions to sit there and get those Black American kids at those ages and a little bit more older than that, get them on a constructive path. They say they'd be a dog dang of monkey talk to allow it to happen. Do you understand? Now, one last thing I want to sit there and show is this right here. Yeah, right here. Right here. Oh my goodness. Now look at that. Without the multiple layers of face paint. And how many males every day have looked at that kind of picture? What I showed you earlier, said, oh, that's a nice looking woman like there. Again, I'm not going to, oh my goodness, well, you know, that culture needs to talk to overall that person's culture. Women, that other culture or ethnicity needs to talk to that other culture. We're not going to go there. It's not the situation. This is the 21st century. Now, there is some truth to either both sides of that story, right? We're not going to all that. We're not going to do that. Just saying, okay? Just relaying, look at this without the makeup. Ugh. Boy, that's demon-like, right? That's charlatanism. But unfortunately, there are still some males that have super low self-confidence that will still wife that up left and right, girlfriend it up left and right. And she will use them. Now, unfortunately, see, she's not going to, she needs to be doing about 50 years for this minimum, 25 to 50 years minimum. Do you understand? I said minimum for what she did, because if that was a grown male that did that to a little infant girl, he may get castrated for numbers of them, and some ones have got castrated. Just give me an example. Just saying. But I guess when a little creepy pedophile Anglo woman does that, well, I mean, well, she made a mistake, you know, and she might be one of the ones that actually do get some type of relativeness period, super jail time, as if it was a Black male, especially if a Black male does something like that. But anyway, on that, look at that. Ugh. Let's play this video. I'm utilizing this under fair uses doctrine.
2026, the defendant baby-stabbed the victim while the child's mother was out of the house. The victim is a 2-year-old juvenile. During the defendant's time with the child, the defendant took a number of videos with herself and the child. One of those videos was a 14-second video clip taken while inside the bathroom at the child's residence. The video showed the defendant naked from at least the waist down, sitting on the toilet, while the 2-year-old juvenile stood next to the defendant.
Wow. Wow.
Is whether the purpose is to degrade or humiliate the child. I find all these factors weigh in favor of detention. So I'm going to issue the order. There'll be no contact with the victim or the victims.
Look at that. And as numbers of ones within certain parts, women of certain ones within a predominant culture, once applies to no accountability in various situations, once applies to relating to this topic, and then when they get caught like this, then you start seeing those a lot of times as crocodile tears. Now, with all those tears, those crocodile tears, well, anyway, they're anyway. So in this situation, you see this kind of verse right here. Now those crocodile tears, right? a little bit more in these scenarios. They didn't care what was going on at that time. They thought it was funny. What they did in the sexual abusing, sexual assaultiness of that little 2-year-old, little innocent, little toddler boy. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show.